2, 1. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday.
Friday.
Oh my goodness. The day have been going so fast.
Time flies when you're having fun, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at. And we welcome you. Welcome to the Savanh Family Show. And change is putting all your energy not on fighting the old, rather on building the new. Right? So, the big question is this. How do married couples like us who have busy schedules, run high-performing businesses, face challenges daily, raise multiple children,
and yet still remain in love, passionate, and happy like when we first dated?
That is the question, and this show will give you the answers.
Welcome to the Savanh Family Show.
Master your relationship, your life, and your business now.
Welcome back.
Yes, and if this is your first time watching us, we just wanted to welcome you. My name is Savanh. This is my beautiful wife, my amazing business partner as well, Phyllis Savanh.
Hi, and also the tech support.
Yeah. She's got multiple
personality and function.
Yeah, multiple skills.
Very well-rounded wife.
Yes.
Is it why you pick me?
Of course.
Not because I'm cute and
all of it.
It's all because
all of it, baby.
All the functionality that can provide like a smartphone instead of the brick phone that you have.
I knew that artificial intelligence was going to be something that's very valuable in the future. So 16 years ago, I realized that you were my artificial intelligence. So, so let's start with here. So celebrate your wins or share with us what you are grateful for, because we're really creating this movement to have us all really stop and smell the roses and to be present, emotionally connected to all the things that we have, all the things that we're grateful for in our life, and all the things that we have accomplished, because we have accomplished a lot. We are if you look around, there's a lot of things that we're grateful for, right? Yeah, so share with us what you are grateful for or what you are celebrating today.
Absolutely. I just wanted to, give a shout out to Arlene Donaldson. She is one of my team member, and she just have been doing such an amazing job. Amazing. She was sharing me the story that she have grown up, and I was just like, wow, living into a house that they have no foundation. There's no, barely a roof between two homes, drinking water from the faucet just to fill herself up, and and riding on a Jeep to go to school for free, but she's sitting on the very top because she doesn't have the money to pay for it. If not, she will have to, if she can't get that free ride, she will have to walk 3 hours to school.
That's when she was in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, that's when she was in Philippines and growing up. Man, it really touches my heart, and I really have a soft spot for her.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful because the key is, we all start from the same starting line.
Yes.
It's just whether you're gonna continue fighting or not, right? Continue. Go through the hoops, right? Go through the mountain after mountain after mountain after mountain.
Yes.
Because before you know it, if you don't stop trying and learn how to fail forward, next thing you know, you are living the American dream. You are very successful. Like Arlene, right now, she's living in a big house, driving an amazing car, becoming a real estate investor, becoming a really amazing real estate agent. I'm just so grateful that I'm here to be able to support her, to guide her along, to allow to get her to help more people to live in a home that they deserve and desire.
Most definitely. Yes, we all have a lot to offer, and we all have a lot to be
yes
for.
Yes, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good.
Yes, most definitely. So so today's topic is title is learned by Dr. John Maxwell. So every Friday we do an influencer day. Mm-hmm. People who have influenced our lives and we have learned from through the years, through our 16 years here together. So Dr. John Maxwell is obviously quite famous. He's a phenomenal man, great leadership training. He's, done it for over 50 some years, right? So amazing gentleman. So how can you, the title is, how can you change someone's mind? And really, why would you want to, right? So we're going to there's a fine line between changing somebody, right, or their mind, to why would you want to do it, right? And a lot of times it's for their benefit, obviously, right? So and the topic is really to really how do you create lasting change, right? And we're going to walk you through really the five takeaways today from this. So let's really get started. And before we dump into the tips and takeaways, but change is a fine line, right? Like we talked about, why do you want to change somebody? Well, you're not looking. What we're going to share with you is really not changing the person. What we're doing is changing the patterns.
Yep.
Okay. So these takeaways that we're going to share with you is changing the patterns. So a good example of this, it could be something like, any topic really. You could talk about, religious views. You could talk about political. You can talk about all that stuff. But we'll use a simple example of, like, right now there's a belief, right? There's a belief of millennials, for example. People are talking about how millennials are, the worst generation, right? So let's just talk about that. How polarizing that actually is. Why they say, well, millennials really want the most, want things easy, but want to really, let's say work. They want a easiest job, but get paid the most, right? And whether you believe in that or not, and if that's true or not, has no really bearing on this particular topic. We're not talking about millennials in general. I'm just using an example. But let's assume that you were a boss, or you're a parent of a millennial, and you believe this, or you see this, right? You see this where you're like, man, I grew up, I worked really hard, I worked for everything that I have, but maybe my child isn't. It's not. I just don't see that work ethic, that them going for it. For example, and you want your child to change, or if you're an employer and you want your employee, who you love, you want them to be around, but they just can't continue down this path because unless they change, they're not going to be working for you very long, right? You want them to maybe step up a little bit more or anything like that, any type of change like that. So in order for you to get to really have those patterns change, to break those, to interrupt and break those patterns, this is really how you actually do it, right? So this is basically on change. Make sense, man? Yes. So the first, you look at me like, yes. So, I mean, this has to do with creating change, right? So, it changes in anything, any topic that you want to discuss with the individual. So let's get right into it. So first, if you want somebody to change, an employee, a child, a partner, a friend, it just doesn't matter. The first thing you have to do is you want to help them create lasting changes. You have to understand really the global beliefs around that particular topic. And we're using, how people feel that millennials are not, not going to work for it. They just want, to do less and get paid the most, for example, right? So understand why that is, why the global beliefs of that is happening. Because if there's a level of the world believing in that, then that has an influence on this particular generation, right? As a good example. So you got to understand what that is and where did it come from, right? Maybe it came from the previous generation that says, yeah, they're just not working as hard as we are, right? They're just not doing it, right? So by understanding that, then you can kind of understand what the next takeaway, which is understanding their world, right? Their beliefs themselves as individuals.
Yeah. Babe, what is the definition of millennials?
The generation, a certain age group.
Because I consider myself as a millennials.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just using it as an example. I'm not attacking millennials. I'm just using it as an example. We can use another topic if you want, but we could talk about, maybe a child. Let's just talk about this: a parent and a child, right? A parent is, wanting the child to work harder, or they just don't see the child, going for it or working hard or going the extra mile as they did when they were grown. Let's just use that example so this way it doesn't confuse people. Forget about the millennials thing. So a parent who sees a child and that parent wants that child to change, right? Wants that pattern to be interrupted and change. So that parent has to really go out and find out what are the global beliefs that really are driving why his or her child right now isn't working as hard. Maybe they're a teenager, right?
Yep.
And when you grew up, you're like, well, when I was 16 your age, I had already gotten, I was working 3 jobs or 2 jobs, right? And I already actually started working when I was 11. I was already starting to mow the neighbors' yards or, collect cans, whatever it is. I already started working when I was 10 or 11. Like, for example, me, and if I have, I don't have these, this issues because my children are younger, right? Alexander and Troy, they're younger. But when I was about 8, 9 years old, I really was already starting to work. I was walking to the bus stop, and there's a 7-Eleven there. And back in those days where you actually would walk in, and at the very bottom shelf, they have the penny candies, right? The little chocolate footballs or anything, now and laters were only a penny, right? And they were broken up from packs to individuals or anything. I would buy those pennies and actually take them to school and I would sell them. I would sell them for 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents to other kids. So at the age of 8 or 9, are already doing that. And I just don't see that my children will do that, right? In today's changing world. But so if I wanted to say, well, I wanted them to do stuff like that or want them to change and work harder, I started mowing lawns really when I was about 9 or 10 already with my neighbors' lawns. And and if your kid doesn't do it, you want them to do that. So you have to change their pattern. So
Gotcha.
So you have to really understand what the global beliefs around the world has changed. Children don't have to do that type of stuff anymore, which obviously influences your child, right?
Yeah, I think one of the misconception about this global belief and millennials and stuff like that is, in the past, because technology is not really that advanced, so you need to do hard work to make money.
Yes.
However, when the millennial and the Gen Z coming in, technology have advanced. A lot of time, it's really easy for us to make money just by creating an app, doing something online, doing a review. So it's not really the hard work anymore, even though it is still hard work. It's just a lot of hard brain work. However, I think understanding the global belief is great. And when you're using the global belief, it's like, I am, we are, right? I am really, technology advanced. So I'm going to do things with technology that can allow me to advance. However, if you say, man, I am grown in an environment that, we need to use muscle, then what you're going to be doing is everything that you're going to do is based on your muscle. I think that is one of the biggest thing that I understood. I know that in China right now, this e-game sports thing is really huge. And a lot of traditional parents doesn't really understand. Even though the kids are working very hard, but what are they working hard on? They're working hard on playing computer games. And they're like, what? Like the parents like, I don't understand you. Why are you playing computer games every single day? However, apparently in China right now, playing professional computer games, it's right now,
turns into monetizing.
Yeah, it's a sport now. It's becoming, I think, one of the Olympic sports that to play the game and win the game, a computer game. And there's now there's gonna be people that they grown up and all they do is just learning how to play computer games, and all they know what to do is play computer games. And again, I couldn't even adapt to that mindset because my global belief is very different. Yeah. However, the world is changing. Yes. Whether we're ready or not.
Yeah, I'll use another good example of this because the understanding global beliefs and really understanding their beliefs are one, and it has nothing to do with age, right? So when we're talking about lasting change, we're helping people change in general, right? So I'll use Dean as an example. He at one point his dad was was always, Dean Graciosi shared this story and I resonated with it. His dad was always the I'll do it myself guy, right? Cutting my lawn, fix my car, I'll do it, everything, change the light bulb, everything. And then as Dean was progressing through his adulthood and becoming successful, he started hiring people to do stuff for him, right? Yep. Cutting his grass, fixing things, taking out the garbage, things like that. And one day his dad drove up and he saw Dean's friend mowing Dean's lawn. Mm-hmm. And he actually got mad at Dean and like, oh, you're a big shot now. You don't mow your own lawns. And there's a belief there on both sides, right? So his dad was like, oh, you're a big shot now. You don't, you're too good to mow your own lawns. You can't even spend an hour to mow your front and backyard. And that's his dad's belief, and drove off all angry, right? And Dean's belief is like, well, Dad, it's not that I don't want to. I figured that the best use of my time, Dean's belief now, the best use of my time is I need to write a book. I need to create this copy. I need to do this video. So this way, if I do that, it's going to give me a better return than this hour that I spend mowing my lawn, yep. Right? So same thing. And then if he wanted to change his dad's belief, an older person's belief, he has to understand the global beliefs around how his dad grew up. And then he also has to understand his beliefs of why he felt like he needed to do everything himself. And if you think about it, just like Dean said, well, his dad really never made more than $40,000 in his lifetime, right? Annually. And, Dean's making millions. So that's the difference there, right? So no wonder his dad said, I can't afford to hire anybody. I only make 35, 40, so I'm going to do everything myself. Yep. Dean's like, I can't afford to hire somebody because when I hire somebody, I literally can make more millions, right? So there's a big difference there. So this is why. So now if he wanted to really change his dad, he could just teach his dad his belief against his global beliefs now, right? Versus his dad's global belief back then. And I guarantee you his dad will shift. And they did, right? He started, retiring his parents, right? Bought them a nice house, nice car. So now the mom and dad's like, oh, I understand now why my son is, he's not really like he's a big shot. He's too good to do that. It's just if he spends his time in this area, he makes more money, which then he can afford to buy us these nice things, these houses, these cars, and actually retire us, right? So that's the key understanding of both global and understanding their own beliefs. So that's a really great story to kind of share.
Yeah, I mean, just by you saying about understanding their belief. I mean, I understand Caesar's belief. A long time ago, because from my generation, if we're really talking about generation now, in my generation where I come from, gifts and celebration is huge. Birthday, anniversaries, and all that is huge because that's where I come from. That's my global belief. If you want somebody to know that they're very important, you have to focus on all these dates. However, we started to have a lot of crash between the two. And then one day I realized that his global belief and my global belief is different. By me understand his belief and looking at what my father and mother-in-law do is they don't celebrate birthdays. Yeah. They don't believe in, not that they don't believe in celebration.
We didn't have a lot of resources when I was growing up to celebrate those big moments, those Christmas days and birthdays. We really didn't. It was just like, how you doing today? Here's $5, right? That's what it is, and that's it. My parents couldn't afford to throw these big parties, even a simple birthday party. I mean, they just didn't. So, now I do it now because I want I want to change the next generation, right? So we celebrate with our family and our boys, heavily. But yes, at first, yes, it was. But
but at the same time, at the very beginning, I understand his belief, and thus, we didn't do it, and then I feel less hurt when he doesn't do it because I understand his belief.
Yes. And then third, in order to get them to understand, you got to get some leverage, right? Yep. So if they continue down this path, right, again, an employee, a significant other, a child, they continue down this path, what's going to end up happening to them? What are they going to miss out on? What are they not going to gain? What's going to cost them by not changing, right? Yep. Not changing their belief system, changing their patterns that they're doing behaviorally every time that's causing this. What are they going to lose out on, right? So you definitely got to get leverage. And then when they can realize, man, if you continue down this road, I know that let's say they want a certain thing in life, right? And this, they've shared that with you. They want to live this type of life, have this type of a house, or travel the world, whatever it is. And you're like, well, get leverage by it. You're not going to have that if you continue down this road because whether you work with me or you work with another company, you continue down this, this path of work, having this type of a work ethic or this type of a mindset or this type of a attitude, for example, right? Simple things. You're not going to be working with those companies very long. And if you do, they're not going to promote you. They're going to keep you at that level, right? Just like I'm thinking about keeping you always at this position because I can't promote you to the next position because I need a certain attitude, I need a certain mindset, I need a certain work ethic. And you don't have that. You don't have that. So I need you to really change your pattern if you want that type of life. So now they get to think, man, if I don't do this, I won't have that type of life. So get some type of leverage, right? So
yeah, I know that the first time that I got leverage on C's is, my first birthday, right? Going back to the story that I was telling. And I was like, hey, babe, I wanted to go have dinner with you. And he's like, babe, I have a lot of work to do. And I was like, what? If you're going to have a lot of work and if this is how you're going to treat me on my birthday, I don't think it's going to work out. I think we need to break up. And that immediately get the leverage on him. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. Let's go out and have dinner. And that's my first time, tasting the leverage feeling, right? Again, and obviously I realized that, he really treat me really nice. He really view me very well. That's why he's going above and beyond for me, because I got the leverage. It's like, if I can't see the now, why do I care about the future? And again, this is not just a story about him. This is a story for a lot of the men out there. A lot of the time, women, we see the now. You usually see the future because you express love through, building the future, making sure that we have a good life. The key is, we love the future. Don't get us wrong. But we also focus on the present right now. We need you to celebrate the wins with us, the gratefulness. That's why we did what we did in the morning, celebrate all the wins, right? To recognize all the wins. But again, make sure that you also have now, so that, you can do whatever you need to do.
Yes, most definitely. And then the fourth takeaway that we give you is drive them towards pleasure, right?
Yes.
So, if they do this thing, they change this thing, they change this pattern, they change this behavior, this attitude, this mindset, this is what they are going to have, that thing that they want, right? So remind them, drive them towards that, reminding them of that pleasure that they want in life, right? They want this type of relationship, this type of life, this type of business. Then the patterns need to change, the habits to change, the behaviors have to change. So basically, remind them of the pleasures, and that's how people will change for sure. So.
Yes, I mean, I think driving to pleasure is very easy to do. I know that sometimes we might wanted to drive people towards the pain, and that's something that, that is like the default mode. And right now, I'm working very hard to make sure that I'm always driving towards the pleasure. And in the past, what do you usually do? You usually say, hey, I know growing up, it's like, hey, if you don't do this, you're not gonna get this. If you don't do this, you're not gonna get that. Right. And right now, I usually tell my kids, it's like, hey, as soon as you finish this book, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate that you finished this book, and we're going to go, either get a toy or, get an ice cream, something that will drive them towards pleasure. And I realized that the result is so much better. Instead of, them fearing that mommy is going to punish them, they actually just like, okay, I'm going to get it done because we're going to celebrate, and we're going to have chocolate or ice cream. Obviously, my husband always say, why do you bribe your kid? I was like, hey, a little bit of candy doesn't hurt, right? So
yes.
So what do you do? Comment down below. How do you get leverage and and drive your children, your employees, or your husband towards pleasure, so that they will do what you want them to do to create the lasting change.
Yes, and then the fifth step is create change in solvable terms, right? And a lot of times you want to make sure you lead them to that change, that they actually make the decision to change themselves.
Yep.
You can't just say, okay, here's what you got to do. That's the worst thing you can do, because now you're creating the change plan for them. And there's two things there. You're changing the plan for them, and you're creating the actual terms, right, of the plan. They have to create that. They have to understand that, okay, this is my goal, but got it. I understand their beliefs, get it. Leverage, got it. Towards pleasure. And then ultimately you need to ask, as their coach, their father, their employer, to say, okay, what can we do? Obviously, you understand this now. Yes, I understand it. What can we do to change in solvable terms? What that means is, what can we do in based on you? Well, I'm going to do these small little steps, or I'm going to make this massive great. Whatever they say, you back them up and support them, because they're creating those terms. They're creating the plan. I used to be, as a leader in my company, I used to go through all these things, and when it got to this point, I'd be like, okay, so here's what we got to do. Right. And I used to create the plan. Here's what we're going to do. And then they would leave. And sometimes, the plan would be executed. And most of the time it didn't. Why? Because they were my terms. You see what I mean? Whether small or big, they were my terms. I created them. They did not, accept the fact that I need to change. I need to make this transformation. I need to change this pattern, this behavior, this attitude myself. My coach, my leader is right. If I want a better life, better relationship, better business, I want to grow, then I need to do this. And I understand now the leverage and the pain that I really want, and I need to do it. And this is my term. So here's what I think I want to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Boom, boom, boom. And then your job as a coach to help them move forward is to really just support them in that change. That's it.
Wow, I really love that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
create lasting change in solvable terms. Okay. So my brothers and sisters out there, again, whether you are looking to change a child, a relationship, a business partner, an employee, or even an employee, you want to change your employer, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, in order to create lasting change, how do you help people change their mind is really centered around these 5 steps, right? understand global beliefs, understand what's influencing them.
I am, we
yeah,
are.
Yep. And then understand their beliefs of this particular thing that they have to change to, right? And get leverage, right? Get leverage, the pain of what it can cause, what they can lose, and what they will not gain. Drive them towards pleasure, what they will gain, right? What are they going to benefit by doing this change, this pattern change and this behavior? And then when you create lasting change with them, when you want to change, make it in solvable terms, but make sure it's their terms. Make sure they are the one creating the actual plan to change, okay? And then your job is to really just support them. So I know you like this video, right? I know you like this show a lot. And so again, this really goes for everything. Like I said,
Yep.
It could be you're dealing with a generation, you're dealing with a child, you're dealing with a partner, business, home, life, it doesn't matter. It just, at the end of the day, yourself, most importantly, yourself as well. If you want some changes within yourself, that is the thing. So the question of the day is, what are you going to do in terms of looking maybe even at yourself or a partner or a child to say, man, I want try this. I want them to change this one thing, right? And let's talk to them about this. Go through this. What's the global beliefs behind? What's their beliefs behind this? How can I leverage? How can I drive them towards pleasure? And how can I get them to create the plan to change on their terms, right? So
Yes.
Hit the like button. I know that you love this show. And then as well as comment, let us know how you help people change. Whether if you're an employer, leader in your company, how do you help your employees or your people who are following you change to create change? And then most importantly, subscribe to our channel. This way, hit the subscribe button now. This way, when we go live and upload new videos like this, you'll be alerted every single time. And below there are links to get to know us and learn more from us, along with any other previous episodes that you haven't watched. Go back and watch, and you'll love it, because our job is to really just want to add massive value to you guys. Okay, so we love you. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you in the next show. See you in the next video. Subscribe now.
Remember, mastery starts here.
See you on the next show.